As far as the currency devaluations, I've been complaining about that for a long time. And we will all eventually, and probably very much sooner than a lot of people understand or think, we will be all at a level playing field.
Is that good enough, given the concerns of your allies in the region?
Look, we've got a process to go through, and we're in a process at the moment for the rollout of 5G in New Zealand, and obviously Huawei are a big player in that space. They have to go through the same hoops. That includes assessments around issues like cybersecurity. So it's a level playing field.
We need to build a market-oriented, law-based, and world-class business environment. By promoting market-oriented development, we need to overcome the regulations and barriers, the regulations inconsistent with development of the economy, and give a better play to the role of the government. By promoting law-based business environment, it means that we need to ensure that a level playing field will be guaranteed.
What we have signed is I would say, a twin, in large parts a twin of arrangements the US already have with China. And it's about creating a level playing field.
Of society and the chaos that's going on, a lot of people are looking to organizations to show up as that moral compass. And, at MasterCard, we're one of those organizations that, we believe in, creating a world beyond cash, but also doing well by doing good, which is our decency quotient. And part of being decent is creating a level playing field.
The current pandemic has brought unimaginable devastation to people's lives, livelihoods, and national economies. At the same time, the green recovery represents an unprecedented opportunity to rethink and reset the ways in which we live and do business. Now, I've long believed that we need a shift in our economic model that places nature and the world's transition to net zero at the heart of how we operate, prioritizing the pursuit of sustainable, inclusive growth in the decades to come. Having been championing climate action now for the last, 40 years, I can tell you that this isn't a fight for the faint-hearted. However, increasingly we are seeing more and more businesses, investors and consumers prioritizing sustainability and thus creating a much more virtuous circle of supply and demand. By leveraging market forces and the immense resources of the private sector, there is hope that we can transform the situation. But I'm afraid we know now what we have to do to rescue the situation, rather than going on talking about it.
We're going to take you now to the White House, where moments ago President Trump met with European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker. This meeting comes amid tension over trade, specifically tariffs imposed on European steel and aluminum. Let's listen in.
People well and the country's well, and we want to have a fair trade deal, and we're looking to have a fair trade deal, and hopefully we can work something out. Over the years, the United States has been losing hundreds of billions of dollars with the European Union, and we just want it to be a level playing field for our farmers, for our manufacturers, for everybody.
I briefed the leaders on the negotiations with the United Kingdom. Positions remain apart on fundamental issues. On the level playing field.
In the 2012 presidential debates, you were for the Export-Import Bank, which facilitates government funding for U.S. exports. American companies like GE and Boeing are among the beneficiaries. But you said that killing the bank here, and I'm going to quote you, is the last thing a true conservative should be doing. I don't know. Government-backed funding isn't normally what I hear from true conservatives. So why is this situation different?
A true conservative wants to create a level playing field.
Productivity, that's what you do.
You make their products more valuable. You do it better, you do it cheaper, you get more out there. It used to be, when productivity went up in America, everybody got to share. The people who caused the productivity increase, they got a piece of the action. They got a piece of the action. But it went up about 73%. But yet wages only went up about 9% all across America. Something's wrong. How many people in your own neighborhoods? How many people in your own neighborhoods are in trouble? Can look their kids in the eye and say with heart, honey, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Not enough, because the level playing field doesn't exist.
Like very, very small incremental improvement, and so there's still a lot of work to do, and there's still a lot of challenges.
And this is a particularly tough issue for you in your software development business.
Very much so, very much so. I think to me the bigger issue than, I mean, IPR no doubt is a huge issue because we lose this money on it. The bigger issue is whether we have all the right opportunities open to us in China, because there's a growing market, a lot of internal demand, and we wanted to have a level playing field, a fair way.
If on open markets, if they believe that competition is going to be fair, this is why it matters to level the playing field.
What underpins a world order is always the financial system. I was very privileged. My father was an advisor to Nixon when they came off the gold standard in '71, and so I was brought up with a kind of inside view of how very important the financial structure is to absolutely everything else. And what we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain.
Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Crypto Decoder. This is your host, Gnosis de la Soul, aka Gnosis, and today we are going to be talking about ISO 222, which is the banking standard for digital assets running on the blockchain, on the quantum financial system, right? And today we are going to be specifically focusing on USDT. Here we see the USDT, right? Now, what does USDT stands for? It stands for US dollar tether, right? Now, what is this US dollar tethered to? It's tethered to the petrodollar. It's tethered to SWIFT. It's tethered to the fiat paper currency, right? It's tethered to the old fractional reserve banking system, right? This system, or this tether, is about to be done away with, right? Now, if you look closely at tether, right? The tether, the symbol is a T, right? You see the T here. And this T stands for tether. But if you look closely, you see that the symbol tether closely resembles a mushroom cloud. Now, when do you see the mushroom clouds? You only see mushroom clouds after an explosion, right? Now, what is the explosion? The explosion is going to be the ticking time bomb, right? T for time, tether, right? That is ticking away, that is going to explode, right? And, right, level the playing field. You understand? Now, when most people see this term level the playing field, which was coined by the World Economic Forum and other various members, right? Level the playing field, right? Klaus Schwab, Nancy Pelosi, Jerome Powell, right? Rosie Rios, right? Michael Barr, Clayton, Bill Hinman, right? All these talking heads, right? The IMF, the BIS, the WEF, right? The UN, United Nations, NATO, right? BRICS nations. All of these people have the same term, which is level the playing field.
Blast overnight destroyed one house, reducing it to a pile of rubble. It happened on Adelane Court near Yanada Avenue. CBS 2's Tina Patel is live with a look at the damage and what we know about the injuries. Tina.
Well, Marcy, still very early on in this investigation, but you can see what is left of the one home where this explosion happened. It has been completely leveled. This explosion happened. It has been completely leveled.
And it has been completely leveled. Now, when most people hear this term, especially when it pertains to digital assets, crypto, fiat, etc., most people get excited because in their mind, they're thinking, oh, the financial system is about to collapse, right? Not crash, collapse. So if you look up the word collapse, collapse means collapse, just like the financial monetary system. A sudden halt or failure, aka the failure of the monetary system. We hear this word level the playing field, most of us think, oh, everybody's gonna have an even or equal chance, right? Because the playing field is now level, which means everybody is going to be on the same level. Wrong. That's absolutely false. Level the playing field means everyone is going to be wiped out financially. Why? Because after an explosion, right, of the financial world, there will be ruin. There will be nothing left standing. There will be no stocks, no real estate, no bond market, right? No auto industry, no plant, no agriculture, everything. Every industry in the world is going to get hit. It's going to be wiped out by this ticking time bomb, right? Which is tethered to the old fractional fiat currency banking system of the old world. And when this implosion or explosion happens of the financial world, the entire economy globally will be leveled. It will be flattened, leveled like a bulldozer, because everything will have went to zero, right? So when everybody says level the playing field, they don't mean you're going to be on an even kill or kilter with them. It means you're going to be wiped out and nothing will be left standing because the playing field will have been leveled, flattened, flatlined. Like you hear a heartbeat, doot, 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 because the economy will have died and the old banking system will have perished and the new quantum financial system would have been birthed. You understand? You got to understand a lot of this is esoteric, right? It's occultic in knowledge. Now, if you look up the word tether, right? Tether. Tether is the T in tether is the 20th letter. The E is the 5th letter. The T is the 20th letter again. H is the 8th letter. E is the 5th letter. R is the 18th letter. But in numerology, right, everything always gets reduced down to this single digit, which is 1 through 9, because there's only 9 numbers, right? Some people will say, oh, what do you mean there's only 9 numbers? Well, there are only 9 numbers because any number after 9 is going to be repeating, right? A 10 is a 1 and a 0. 51 is a 5 and a 1, and 5 plus 1 is 6. So no number goes past 9 because there's only 9 numbers in existence, right? T, 20, 5, 28, 5, and this is 9. So 20 plus 5 equals 25, plus 20 is 45. Now 45 plus the 5 is 50, right? 50 plus 8 is 58, plus 18, right? The 10, that's 68, right? And then you add another 8 to that, 76. And 7 plus 6 is 13. And what does 13 stand for? 13 is a heavily used number in the Freemasonic world when it comes to Freemasonry, right? With the Illuminati and the people who run the world. The people who run the world aren't who you think they are, right? Yes, we're talking about the Bilderbergs, talking about the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts, and the Houdinis, right? And all these other people, right? But beyond them, there are other families that you guys never heard of, which they call themselves Legion, and they, follow behind an ethereal being, a demonic ethereal being, which they worship, right? But I'm not going to get into that, but just know that that's the reality, and there's plenty of evidence and documentation proving this. And I can do that in another video, but I'm not going to go waste my time and do that right now because I'm trying to keep this video short as possible and focus only on USDT Tether, the collapse of the financial system. So this explosion, right, which is Tether, which is the ticking time bomb, right? Because we know November 11th, right? 9/11. Because we know November 11th is when the Eurozone, right, aka ISO 222, will be going live, right? November 2022. Now, November, right, the month of Nova, right? Nova represents 9. Now, what is 9? 9 represents the birth, right? That's what 9 in numerology. 9 represents the spiral or the birthing, right, of new energy. Now, what new energy is this going to be birthing into existence within this realm? The quantum financial system, aka crypto, aka blockchain, aka ISO 222 standard. Now, if you look at this word ISO 222, right, 222 means 2022. We're in the year 2022. ISO, right? The I represents 9, the S represents 19, which is 1, and the O represents 6. 916 or 619 is really 666. So the birth of the beast quantum financial system, right, which is going to be happening in November, which is the 9th month, which represents birth, in the year 2022, which is 222. Now, 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. So it's funny, ISO, which is 666, 6. You understand? And didn't Bill Gates come up with a cryptocurrency patent to mine cryptocurrency using body, right? Body energy, which patent number 666. I'm not making this up, guys. This is factual information. You can look it up. Now, if you look this up, right? USDT Tether, right? The Tether will collapse the new financial system in a bomb, which overnight everything will be leveled and flattened, which is the financial market, right? And the financial market represents the derivative market, the bond market, stock market, real estate market, the crypto market, the blockchain market, the DeFi market, the art market, every market in the world, markets that I never even heard of, all will be flattened, right? The precious metals market, right? And from this new system, from the ashes rises the phoenix, right? And we know the phoenix, according to The Economist magazine, produced in 1988, says that stellar lumens, along with XRP and H-bar, which was shown to us in the movie Back to the Future, right on the cab, you see XRP and you see H-bar, right? And then you see stellar lumens, right? Even in that movie Interstellar, they show you right there, stellar lumens, right? Will rise from the ashes of the burning fiat currency, which you see right there on your screen, The Economist magazine, which was, by the way, produced in 1988 by none other than, you guessed it, David Schwartz. Okay, so and who's David Schwartz? He is one of the founding members of Ripple XRP. Cannot make this up, folks. So the USDT dollar will collapse in an explosion, which may happen overnight. And November 11th, which is the 9/11, and we know 9/11 means in numerology, esoteric, it means warning, right? It means take heed, it means pay attention, right? Pay attention. Something major is going to happen, and ISO 222 will be going live in the Eurozone, right? Now, what just happened in UK? The sterling or the British pound just collapsed. Isn't that funny? In the month of October, which is 1 month before November, which is the 8th month, right? The 8th month in the Gregorian calendar, right? Because there's many different calendars out there: Julian, Gregorian, Mayan, world. There's many different calendars. Egyptian, right? Lunar. Okay. On the Gregorian calendar, USDT, right? Which is the 8th month, Octo, right? Which stands for infinite, right? The infinity, right? ICP. The infinity is going to collapse in on itself, and it's going to explode. And from the explosion rises the phoenix, right? That's why it's level the playing field, aka the great reset. Now, the reset of what? Now, the word re means to do again, and the word set, right, represents set, right? You got Horus versus Set, night and day, the night, which is rebirth of the night, right? Or people say the golden dawn, right? The reset, the great reset, which is going to be that explosion, which is going to flatten and level the playing field, which is tethered to the old fractional US dollar fiat banking system. And from that, a new world order, which is a one world currency, aka Nimrod, right? One world currency, which will be backed by blockchain, precious metals, right? And every country will have a CBDC, central bank digital coin. And this CBDC will be stimulated and funded into your account directly by the Federal Reserve, which is not a bank, and it's not federal, and it's not a reserve. It's a private organization, but the Federal Reserve will be funding everybody's bank account through the UBI, Universal Basic Income, and everybody will be tethered to this financial system, right? Where you will be tracked. Your money will be programmed. You won't be able to spend, right, buy or sell without them knowing. Sounds like one of the Bible verses. You will not be able to buy or sell without seeing the mark of the beast. But the mark of the beast really isn't cryptocurrency. It's something else, but tied to cryptocurrency. But anyway, let's move forward. So focusing still on just this area here, right? You see the T, it represents, you see this right here, which is the accretion disk that centers around any major explosion, creating a mushroom cloud, which is what Tether stands for, the T. The T is a ticking time bomb, right? Which will go off around November 2022, which is the 9th month, which represents birth, right? And 9/11, which is the same thing as September 11th, right? Septo, 7/11, 7/11, thank heaven, 7/11, 9/11, right? Represents the birth, right? And it's funny because September 7th to September 26th represents the end of the Shemitah year. And if anybody knows anything about Shemitah, you know that every 7 years, there is a financial collapse or a financial ruin. And there's other cycles like the war cycle, right?
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me with you. I would like to thank the National Press Club and especially President Angela Grilling-Keane for not only inviting me to this prestigious venue, but essentially presenting the outline of what I want to talk to you about now. So it's as if we had prepared that together, which we have not. Now, let me first of all, of course, begin by wishing you all a Happy New Year. I guess it's still time to do that, given that we are just exactly halfway through between our Western New Year and the Lunar New Year, which will loom in a few weeks' time. I think it's also appropriate to wish ourselves a Happy New Year, given what I would like to talk to you about, which has to do with the global economy and what we should expect for 2014. Now I'm going to test you numerology skills by asking you to think about the magic 7. Okay? Most of you will know that 7 is quite a number in all sorts of themes, religions, and I'm sure that you can compress numbers as well. So, if we think about 2014, all right, I'm just giving you 2014, you drop the 0, 14, 2 times 7. Okay, that's just by way of example, and we're going to carry on. So 2014 will be a milestone and hopefully a magic year in many respects. It will mark the 100th anniversary of the First World War back in 1914. It will mark the 70th anniversary, drop the 0, 7, of the Bretton Woods Conference that actually gave birth to the IMF. And it will be the 25th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. 25th. Okay. It will also mark the 7th anniversary of the financial market jitters that quickly turned into the greatest global economic calamity since the Great Depression. The crisis still lingers. Yet, optimism is in the air. We've left the deep freeze behind us, and the horizon looks just a bit brighter. So my hope and my wish for 2014 is that after those 7 miserable years, weak and fragile, we have 7 strong years. Now, I don't know whether the G7 will have anything to do with it, or whether it will be the G20. I certainly hope that the IMF will have something to do with it.
And if anybody knows anything about Shemitah, you know that every 7 years, there is a financial collapse or a financial ruin. And there's other cycles like the war cycle, right? The solar cycle, the Yuga cycle, the cosmic cycle, the zodiac cycle. There's multiple cycles, right? The feeding cycle, the harvest cycle, the sun cycle, the lunar cycle. But it happens that during this year, 2022, is when a lot of cycles converge, which is a perfect time, according to these people, where they will usher in the new quantum financial system, which will be the collapse of the old world order and into the new world order, right? Where everything will be flattened and leveled. No one will have a chance. Everyone will get wiped out unless you have XRP, you have XLM, and the other ISO 222 tokens like Cypherium, HBAR, Solana, Cardano, Shello, right? DAG, Constellation, SPC, not talked about, Space Chain, Hero, VXV, Vector Space AI, and other crypto that will be used like Chainlink, Cosmos, Ripio Credit Network, which I don't hear anybody talking about, right? Many other coins that I can name, but we're not going to go over that in this video. Stay tuned and subscribe, comment, like. I really don't care about likes or comments or subscriptions. The only thing I care about is that you learn, you invest, and that you tell other people to do the same thing. And if they don't want to listen, fine. You could bring a horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink. So you only did your job by informing your friends, family, acquaintances, co-workers. And if they don't want to take heed to the information, then you move on to the next person. And then you tell that person to tell somebody else. And keep the cycle going. That way we can free as many people from financial slavery as possible before the system collapses. If you have a chance to work a 9-to-5 job, go ahead and do so. Don't wait. Some people I know are standing around doing absolutely nothing, and they can be working a 9-to-5 job, stacking their money and buying XRP while it's still 45 cents. Buying XLM when it's still 12, 13 cents. Buying HBAR when it's at 8, 5 cents. Gala Games, 5, 6 cents. You kidding me? XDC, 2, 3 cents. What? VXV, 49 cents. Cypherium is cheap. You kidding me? Even Bitcoin, and I don't stand behind Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a fool's gold, although it is decentralized to a somewhat degree. But even Bitcoin is still a good buy to buy right now. However, there is going to be a major market crash, and not a crash, a collapse. Now, I'm going to read the definition. The definition of the word collapse means to fall together, to fall into an irregular mass through loss of support or rigidity. Loss of support of the what? Financial system, because they're overprinting, right? Right? It means to fall, to slip, right? Fallen from a spiritual or religious state. So it means to fall. Okay. So the financial collapse means to fall. Now, when you do demolition and you level the playing field, it is the falling in of the buildings, right? When you set off the bombs, boom, 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 just like 9/11, right? And the building collapses and it becomes leveled or flattened because it fell, right? So what's going to fall? The old the old fiat paper, fractional reserve, petrodollar banking system, right? That is going to fall. It's going to explode or implode on itself, right? And when that happens, many people will be wiped out. Talking about rich people, poor people, middle-class people. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, the people who were committing suicide weren't your poor people. Remember, poor people are used to being poor and not having money. They're used to being able to scrape by and live and do what they need to do and form little communities and help each other out. It was the rich people who were committing suicide because they were the ones who lost millions. Imagine living on Easy Street, having multiple homes, beautiful car, right? Money in a bank, and then waking up one day and you're now bankrupt. You're now poor, you're a peasant. Most people couldn't handle that shock to their reality. And so what would they do? They would go crazy. They end their life. But that's not going to happen to you because you're watching this video. You're sharing this video with your friends, your family, your coworkers, anybody who will listen. You're sharing this information. You're not hoarding it to yourself. I don't care if you don't comment, like, or subscribe. All I care about is that you internalize the information, use it, take heed, and then share it with other people, and then tell them to share it with other people. Not so I can get subscribers, so that we can free as many people from what's going to happen as possible when Tether, and not just Tether, when the US dollar, old financial fractional reserve banking criminal Ponzi scheme system explodes, which is all planned, by the way. So just to recap, and then I'm going to end it there. USDT, which equals up to the number 13, equals 76. Yep. And so this number 76 really equals to the number 13, right? And you see 13 here represents Freemasonry, right? Just like you have 13 Illuminati bloodlines, you have 13 colonies that founded the US, you have 13 banking families, you have the 13 disciples with Jesus being the one, right? The son. You have the 13-step pyramid, which is on the back of your dollar bill. And then you have the 13 tribes of Israel. Even though they say it's 12, it's 13. Okay. So there's significant number in the 13. 13 also represents love, by the way, not hate. But remember, everything in this world is flipped on its head, right? Down is up, up is down, left is right, right is left, good is bad, bad is good, right? Everything in this world has been flipped upside down to confuse you, keep you asleep in your deep slumber. So again, we have USDT, Tether. Tether is the T. T stands for ticking time bomb, right? And what does it mean to tether something? It means to fasten. It means, right? The word tether means a rope for fastening an animal. They're calling you an animal. It also means, right, to fasten, right? Now, what is it tether being fastened into? It's being fastened to the what? The old financial quantum system, right? The word tether means to confine by tether. What are you guys confined to? You're confined to a debt-based, right, economy, which is what? the fiat fractional reserve banking system, right? So once this rope breaks or this tether is exploded, the ropes holding back the liquidity, right, will no longer be there. And all this money will come flooding into the quantum financial crypto system.
Surprise us a year from now is that banks will be custodying digital assets directly. Two things happening. One is banks are seeing that a lot of money is being made by digital asset exchanges globally, and banks are profit motivated. The second, regulatory clarity and regulatory frameworks enable banks and financial institutions to lean into these markets.
Remember, all of the money that they've been printing has been going somewhere. The value doesn't disappear. See, if I have $100 and I keep printing 100, keep printing more and more money, the value, right? The value stays the same, right? But the purchasing power decreases. So when we say the economy, right, the US dollar is now $31 trillion in debt. Remember, debt means we owe somebody. So who do we owe that 31 trillion plus dollars? That means that whoever is owed that money is now the creditor, because we are borrowing from this person who is loaning us those trillions of dollars. So the value of the money is going somewhere. And I'm telling you where it's going. It's going to the blockchain quantum financial system. So this is where all of the world's wealth is going into. It's going into this blockchain technology. And so if you're not investing in this technology, then you're going to be wiped out financially. Rosie Rios told you, Nancy Pelosi told you, Jerome Powell told you, Klaus Schwab told you, right? The World Economic Forum told you, right? Donald Trump told you, Joe Biden told you. All of these talking heads, they all told you where the money's going. They're telling you what they're doing. The crazy thing I can't understand about most people is that they are literally telling you where the money's going, what crypto to invest in, where to put your money, and yet most people still walk around like chickens with their heads cut off, still going out clubbing, still partying, still going buying concert tickets, still wasting their money. What you guys should be doing is stocking up food, water, silver, gold, ISO 222 crypto, and hyperledger coins, right? You should be buying non-perishables, firewood, pet food, things that are going to last you, right? Because they're talking about cyber attacks. Now, we all know a cyber attack is an EMP, whether the cyber attack is natural from a solar flare or whether it's from, a country like Russia or whatever, right? An electromagnetic pulse. This is why you should buy a Faraday cage and a ledger, Decent Wallet, or the Nano Ledger, Trezor, or the EliPal, right? Titan, in order to save your crypto, get your crypto off the exchanges, because the exchanges will collapse along with everything else. Also, I will invest in exchange tokens because the exchanges will become the new banks. Anyway, I want to make this video too long. Like I said, I can talk forever because there's a lot of information to unpack here. And a lot of this is occult, esoteric. And a lot of what's going on with crypto is occult and esoteric as well. I will leave you guys with this. The crypto coin, blockchain technology isn't just to provide liquidity and to connect the world, it's to connect worlds, plural. This is what the XRP symbol really represents, the colliding of two worlds. So cryptocurrency, people don't really know the hidden agenda behind cryptocurrency is to connect two different realms or two different worlds and have one financial system where these beings are able to transact with other beings in different dimensions and different worlds. That is the true purpose and nature of cryptocurrency, as well as to enslave you. But that is the underlying factor. This is why it is quantum, because the only thing that can connect two different realms, dimension, is quantum tunneling. This is what CERN, Large Hadron Collider, come on people. Wake up. Wake up. I told you in my previous video what the XRP symbol really stood for. It stands for the colliding of two worlds, right? The two worlds represent two different realms, two different dimensions, two different local spaces in space-time. And they're going to be connected through quantum tunneling, which is why we have a quantum financial system, which is why we have a blockchain to create a chain between the two worlds, right? And tether them together. You get it? Gnosis. This is the Crypto Decoder. Peace.
Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics, the future of investments, the future of money, and specifically cryptocurrencies. I'm going to start with a little bit of my background. I am a trained analyst. After graduating from Harvard, my first job was a commercial property underwriter for General Reinsurance. So I am trained in managing high-valued risk. Prior to becoming Treasurer of the United States, I was Managing Director of Investments for a $22 billion firm based in San Francisco. And I was asked by President Obama to be part of the Treasury transition team at the height of the financial crisis. As you heard, I was the longest Senate-confirmed official in the Obama administration. And yes, it is my name on the lower left-hand side of U.S. money. So out of the approximately $2 trillion of U.S. currency in circulation worldwide, my name is approximately on 1.8 trillion. So I can honestly say that no one has made more money than I have. And I want to start by saying I am also on the board of Ripple, which is XRP, cryptocurrency. But I want to make something very, very clear. Blockchain is here to stay. The train has left the station. You're going to hear me quoted about that all the time. As far as I'm concerned, whether it's fractional real estate, whether it's art, whether it's NFTs, blockchain is not going away. And so the question is, how do we take advantage of this?
If you guys enjoy the content and like what you just listened to and watched, then please subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Please share this with your friends, families, relatives, loved ones, so that we may grow, build generational wealth, and defeat the system that is trying to keep us enslaved. The Crypto Decoder. Peace.